Hey guys, this is Dwayne Cameron, and this is a shout out to Action Activate.
I can see. You see our pose. Tension.
She is also here.
Energize.
Can you hear me talking?
Oh, okay. Let's just ruin the opening credits. Hey, look at this. There's the opening credits. How do you like that?
This is going to be a great playback on YouTube.
Hey, it's us. Well, welcome aboard to Action Activate, where we talk over the credits of our own show. I am Gazbot, better known here as the Gazbot Knight, and with me, as always, is...
The Bigdawg Defender.
That's right, Bigdawg. So, hello to everybody. Sorry for the weird starts. Basically, I have little readouts in front of me saying that you can't hear me, but you're saying that you can, so I will trust your ears more than the readouts. And yeah,
I usually do.
Yeah, the Defender is not late. Matt Kendall-Clare is calling you out on your usual tardiness.
Wow.
Erzuki telling us that they can hear things. And somebody else was here, the real Baboo. Hello to all. So hello to everybody. Thank you for joining us. I guess it wouldn't be Action Activate if everything went perfectly smoothly. So the Bigdawg was here, so we had to have other issues. Yeah, speaking of Overdrive, that shout out in the beginning was Dwayne Cameron, the Mercury Ranger, who is the art I have up there. And that is, of course, for sale on my Etsy store if you were interested. But I met him at Power Morphicon booth at San Diego Comic-Con. As we talked about, we had a couple of interviews. There's one more full interview coming up from San Diego that we haven't put up yet. But we have a few shout outs like that where they just were nice enough to give us a little shout out. Mm-hmm. We're going to get into the episode in a second. I don't want to get into news, but this weekend, Bigdawg, you want to tell them about what we did there? Uh-oh, there you are.
Where this weekend, so yesterday, Gazbot, Erzuki, and myself went over to Stockton Comic-Con, where we were able to see a few Ranger actors, and the rest I'll leave up to future episodes.
Yeah, we don't want to give away the spoilers and secrets, but we haven't gotten through everything we've got from San Diego Comic-Con, and we now have new stuff from Stockton Con. So we're bringing the Ranger action to you guys. Well, to us first, and then eventually to you. Hello, Dolly Girl. How you doing? All right, so without further ado, I'd kind of like to jump right into this episode, if that's all right with you.
Yes, one thing I will say before we start is yesterday, while hanging out at Stockton Comic-Con, I actually talked about how excited I was to formally discuss this with you today.
Yeah, because we have not discussed it. Just for those that don't know, we know each other in real life, but we try not to talk about this stuff until we're on the show.
Yep.
All right, so let me go back to the Ranger show shot. So, wait, one thing I forgot to mention. Last week I started my Power Rangers in Space Black headshot, and I got about halfway done. So let me go ahead and boop. There it is up there. So it'll take it from halfway done all the way to finished color by the end of this episode, probably. So you can watch that if you so choose. And real quick chat before we get going too much. Matt Kendall-Clare is saying hey to everybody. Okay, so everybody's just sort of saying hi and. Dolly, nice to see you. Oh, yeah, Dolly, sometimes because of her schedule can't make it, so good that you can make it this week, so thank you.
Good to see you.
All right, so...
And real Baboo, I appreciate that comment about Overdrive. We all know the truth, but...
I was going to let it slide because I didn't want to, get you too ramped up, about your favorite show.
I'm super ramped just because we get the crossover that we've already had and we have to look forward to now.
Sure.
Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles.
Is it fair to say, though, that regarding Overdrive, that Dwayne Cameron's character, Tyzon, the Mercury Ranger, is your favorite part of that team?
Out of those Rangers, probably.
There you go. Okay, we said it. Something nice about the nice gentleman. So, moving on. Power Rangers in Space... Part 2, Shell Shocked. Now, as we talked about last week, we barely saw anything of the turtles. They showed up at the very end. So this episode starts exactly where that one left off. All the turtles have just come up from the sewer, and they're standing there. And then I was talking about this a little bit last week, but this is where I was a little confused because I was thinking of this scene where it looked like last week they teleported them from the sewer up to the surface. They were in New York, and I was like, well, that seemed like unnecessary. Why'd they do that? But in this one, they make it seem like they're from another dimension, maybe, or they're Power Rangers from another dimension, because they get there and like, how do we get here? And immediately Astronema shows up, right? And obviously this is all American footage. Most of this episode is American footage. And she's like, hey, Turtles, how you doing? Something along the lines of, you're gonna fight the Power Rangers for me, or maybe she doesn't. Did she start with that, or did she give some sort of pleasantry first? I was trying to remember.
I think she's just pretty much like, hey, you guys work for me.
Okay. No, oh, I remember. She says, "You're gonna destroy the Power Rangers for me," and they're like, "Why would we do that?" And she's like, "Oh, because you're gonna work for me." But before that, Michelangelo's like, "Hey, lovely lady, you're so cool, cowabunga, whatever," and he just sort of like runs. This whole episode, Michelangelo is a total horn dog. He hits on every girl. Every girl. It's ridiculous.
Repeatedly.
Yeah. So he comes in and he gets pushed back by Elgar in a surprisingly aggressive move for such kind of a goofy character. He's like, "Back in line, reptile," and it's like, oh, he became a real villain for a second. I thought he was comic relief. What happened there? Let's see. I bet Dolly can't wait to throw. Dolly's excited to be here. Can't wait to throw out a fun fact. A real Baboo shell shock. That sounds like the name of a monster. Baboo would. Yeah. I could see that.
I could see it either already being like a monster we've seen, or yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I would love to see your interpretation of shell shock.
Agreed. But what I like here, it's a little unclear because the headbands are so close. That's the orange and the red. So this is Raph coming up. So basically, Michelangelo comes up and he's like, "Let me kiss you," and he gets pushed back. And then Raph comes up and he's like, "I got a question." And as Elgar moves towards him, he kicks him immediately. Like this was
Like out of the way. That was my favorite part. Is
Me
him
too.
just like nonchalantly being like, "I could easily take all of you. Here's my question."
Yes, it was. That was probably my favorite Ninja Turtle moment of the entire episode. The most like in character Raphael badass moment right in
It's
the
just
beginning here.
boop.
Yeah, I have no time to mess with you. I'm talking to her. Yeah, I love that. And so then this is where he's like, "Why would we, even?" Oh no, that's what it was. She says, "I want you to destroy the Power Rangers," and he's like, "Hello, the Power Rangers aren't even real." So the question is, are they in different universes and her magic brought them to the Power Ranger universe? Or are they like secret, like so that the Power Rangers and the Turtles exist in the same world, but they both kind of operate in secret and they're just myth and legends?
All right. I'm gonna be a huge apologist and give this explanation.
All right, here's your one shot.
Splinter knows more about the real world than the Turtles. So they may have heard rumblings somehow about the Power Rangers. He tells them a story as if they're fictional and some people to aspire to and look up to. They think they're just from a comic book because I think in continuity and out there were Power Ranger comic books. And that's why when they teleport up, they think that they're made up, but they know kind of the backstory behind them and their general purpose because of this headcanon I just made up.
So you think so they are in the same universe?
Yes.
Okay, but they're just myth and legend a little bit to each other.
Well, because also when later in the episode when they're with the Rangers, they're like, "We need to get back to New York." They're like, "We have a spaceship. We'll fly you there. Whatever."
Right, but we're jumping ahead, but when the Rangers meet the Turtles, there's also a moment where the Rangers like, "Wait, could it be them?" And it's unclear of like, are they surprised to see these secret heroes, or are they like, did they the cartoon and comic book characters? Is it them? So
It could be a similar thing, though.
yeah, well, but I feel like it's never 100% resolved, and maybe that was so they could potentially have future team ups if they so chose. But to
True.
me, it was never clear if they were different dimensions or not. Real quick in chat, just to address. Oh, hey, Boofy, what's up? Thanks for the cheer. Emote, cat, cheer, whatever you want to call it. But Matt Kendall Clare pointed out, and I don't know if Steve Andreno, the real Baboo, was being literal or not, but apparently there was a monster called Shell Shock, which was the one with the stoplight, that Squat and Baboo did help create. So I thought he was just making a joke, but he might have been making a literal reference to an episode.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
so nice to have a little Matt Kendall Clare magic clearing that up for us. So, talk about face acting right here. I love this.
This whole episode, I was like,
yeah.
this is for
This
you.
was some of Astronoma's like best goofy face acting. I loved it so much. And this was basically, she's like, well, they're real. And they're like, well, even if they are real, why would we fight them? And she's like, because you work for me now. Durr, or something like that, which I loved. She pulled so many like goofy faces, mean faces. Melody Perkins, right? Is that her name?
Yes.
She was doing amazing work in this episode.
The thing about this episode and last week's is
Yes, sir.
they're literally 4 episodes in, and this is so good compared to other things that we've seen now. Like,
Yeah.
it still holds up. That's what boggles my mind watching this. Is I'm like, in some ways, there are a lot of flaws in this episode. In other ways, why did we have so many misses in so many other seasons when this was like, I mean, we might cancel Power Rangers. Throw the Ninja Turtles in and just go for it.
I keep coming back to that too, that like it wasn't just that. It was like you could say, oh, well, they had so many years to work on it and they were so polished, which is kind of true. But as we all know, this was going to be the last season. Yeah. So like I don't know. And I will say, when I first watched this episode, not today, but a couple years ago, I had heard there was a Ninja Turtle crossover with Power Rangers. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I can't wait to see it. And when I saw it, I was like, wow, that was really disappointing. Having had that experience going into it now, getting ready to hate it, I'm like, oh, it's not as bad as I remember. So it just goes to show expectation is a lot, because I love Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and never saw the crossover. So I was like, this is going to be the best thing ever. It wasn't the best thing ever. So in my mind, I made it the worst thing ever. But watching it again now, I enjoyed it a lot more this time around.
I think part of it, though, is you hold Turtles to a higher standard, and this is arguably the lowest point of the Turtles.
Yes, this might be the worst version of the Turtles I've ever seen. Well, to be fair, I haven't seen the new cartoon that just came out, but I don't. Most of the problems I have with this episode is the way the Turtles act, to be honest.
Yeah, very fair.
And also, having watched the first episode of Next Mutation, which is the show it's based on, there's stuff in this that wasn't in that, like some of the lip flaps and stuff. Like there's a scene where Venus like talks and her mouth just doesn't move and stuff. And some of the effects on the Turtles are not as good as they are on their own show. Yeah. So it just seemed a little rushed. But
the other thing I like about it, though, is all of it is practical.
Yes. No, I love that.
That's my favorite part.
And I do feel, though, that because of the crossover, maybe it was a little bit rushed on the Turtle side. And whereas the Rangers, take him out of the suit, have him run in the corner. Oh, get the stunt actor to punch this guy. But the Turtles have so much more going on with the animatronics and everything else that was the stuff I noticed not working as well. And some of the Turtle dialogue, which might have been just how it was in the show, but I felt like, and we're even jumping into the whole episode when we're just starting, but yeah, we'll get into all this. But so she does the mind control on him, and what I like about this is when he gets mind controlled, he doesn't go, oh, like I'm under mind control. He goes like he's immediately a bad guy, like an angry. Yeah. I thought that was a nice little touch that the actor did underneath.
The only thing I didn't like about the mind control aspect is I'm like, wait, if you could do this whole time, why is this only happening on the Turtles?
Now I'll be the apologist, because Power Rangers, I'll give myself one shot. I think maybe she could do it to other humans and stuff and could have done that. But if she tried to use it on the Rangers, we've seen time and time again that when they're morphed, they have resistance to like poison or space or, various things. Now, sometimes there's a monster that can overcome that and mind control them anyway. But it seems like just being a Ranger gives you a certain amount of protection against a lot of attacks and things like that. So my guess is that it would not work on them. And how would she know that? Well, we know Andros was from a previous team of Rangers that they may have fought, so maybe she had tried to use it on those Rangers and already knows it won't work on the current team. That is my headcanon.
I think that this is the most apologizing we've ever done for a Rangers episode ever, and I'm so proud of us.
Baboo did confirm he was being literal about the shell shock monsters too. So we get here, and then five, and we go into
4, 3, 2, 1. Rangers in space.
Set controls
to outer.
We did the same.
We
thing
don't want to
week.
get demonetized on YouTube, so we're gonna keep.
Oh yeah, it's so perfect. It'll definitely get a copyright strike. So this is just the
when
opening.
When you hear that echo of me covering my mouth like this, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. And there's Roger Velasco's Carlos, who I'm working on in the art up there, who's going to also be at Power Morphicon.
Oh shoot, I did it the wrong side. Sorry.
Yeah, it's always backwards. I said Power Morphicon, but I meant to say Ranger Stop. Although he might be at Power Morphicon too, but Ranger Stop is where I know he's going to be next. Yeah. And then Selwyn Ward, because I like Selwyn Ward, and Rangers in Space. So, wait, real quick. Let's see. Oh, I missed a few things. Dolly Girl. My favorite Ninja Turtle was the 1990s live-action movie, the first one, also the Burger King releases. I love the first Ninja Turtle 1990s movie. I agree. The other ones
really good.
Got progressively goofier, but that first one was really close to the comics, and the effects on the suits and everything were really good. It's weird because the effects on those suits were better than a lot that came later, which is always weird to me. Like, you nailed it, but then you didn't want to put the money or the time in later. I will say, though, that not the most recent cartoon, but the one right before it, I like that a lot too. That's tie for my favorite version of the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, the one that was still
it was CGI, but it was kind of stylized, and it did a good job of like paying homage to the comics that were a little darker, but also had the comedy from the cartoons. And
that's the one with Usagi in it, right?
He's shown, yes, but he's shown up in a couple different iterations. He was in the 80s
Okay.
one as well.
Okay.
And then Matt Kendall Clare says, great thought, Gazbot Astronom's mind control thing. Thank you, Matt Kendall Clare. And then Deli Girl, the fact they are in Power Rangers is so random. Yeah, the main reason is because Saban got the rights to do a live-action Ninja Turtle show, which was called The Next Mutation. And that was coming out, it was running concurrently, either right before or right after. They were on, roughly the same time. And so it was the idea to either boost up Ninja Turtles with Power Rangers or vice versa, but it was cross promotion. So it does seem random, but it's because Saban had the rights to both is why they crossed over. Same reason that Masked Rider crossed over, because he had the rights to both. That's really all these crossovers is just to the power. Oh, is it the end of the show? Okay. Anyway.
Thanks for having me here, guys. We'll see you next week where we're going to go into part 2 of part 2. And
part 2 of part 2. So here we come, Shell Shocked. Not the monster created by Baboo and Squat, but the title of the episode.
I'm looking in chat right now. Real Baboo's on the same page as us. Silence.
Words have no meaning.
Have no meaning on
a planet under the Cape of War.
War.
So this is the introduction to the, oh my gosh, what do you call them? They're surfboards. I'm totally blanking on the name.
Galaxy Glider?
Galaxy Glider, thank you. I wanted to say Jet Jammer, but that's Lost Galaxy.
Yep.
This is introduction to those, and, of course Andros knows about them, but everyone else is like, woo-wee, hot ride. And he's like, yeah, it's really easy. You just lean forward and back.
You lean forward and lean back? That's crazy.
But he's like, I'll give you a tutorial later. But then Decca's like, no. We have things going on. We don't have time for that. Something's being attacked on the planet. So I think this is the first time we see this too. Am I mistaken, or did we see this in an earlier episode? Although this is episode 4, so whatever. Episode 4.
Actually, I think this is the first time, because the first 2 were them with tattered clothes, finally getting the powers. Last one we went over last week, so yeah. We did it.
People are enjoying our silliness. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's why we do it. For you, the people.
For you, the people. I like this set, though, and I like the way they color coordinate the tubes.
Yeah, I really like it,
a lot of good set design on this season.
From a behind-the-scenes standpoint, I wonder how many times they're like, just waiting around, like, hey, do you guys want to go through the slides again? Okay.
Like when they're bored. But I could see, like, the set dressers, not the set dressers, but the tailors? What do you call the people that give you clothing on a set? There's a
costume designer.
Yeah, I can see them being annoyed though, because like every time you go down there, you get wrinkles or you get a smear.
You
get a scuff on it. Stop it! So they got to like strip down to their underwear to go down it, and then they put water, and now it's a water slide. And wait, no, I'm getting crazy. Let's get back.
I will admit, as a child, when I went on slides at certain parks, I would do this call.
Oh, really? You do before you went out?
Yeah. So
that's
I turn,
amazing.
And then I think I'd say Galaxy Glider, hang 10, because I think that's what they say.
Wait, how did you do it? You got the one
Galaxy
shot.
Glider, hang 10, turn, slide down. Young Bigdawg.
That's awesome.
Micro dog, as it were.
Micro dog. Not even small dog.
Well, because there's already little dog.
You could have been small dog.
Maybe. Petite dog.
Little Bigdawg.
There we go.
Little Bigdawg. That's your rapper name.
Yep.
It'd be like a remix, like, yo, I'm Little Bigdawg. Galaxy
Little
Glider.
Bigdawg on
Galaxy
the track.
Glider. Galaxy Glider. I'm in space.
Hey,
so get out my face. All right. We're doing a lot of singing this time. So
there's a lot of just randomness. If we get demonetized, it'll be one of my greatest attributes, that people think I sound enough like real songs.
That would be amazing. So basically, Andros is like, I'm gonna train you up on how to use these. Oops, we don't have
on
time.
The fly.
Let's use these. Yeah, and I was like, so what was the training gonna be? Because he immediately is like, it's easy, just lean forward and back. But yet, what were they gonna like? It's weird because like, we don't have time to train. Get on. It's easy. Like I would love to have seen if they had time where they got on. And he's like, okay, now get ready. Step 1, you lean forward. But wait a minute, there's a step 2, you lean back.
I feel like comedically they had a missed opportunity of, I don't know if you've ever been stand-up paddleboarding, but sometimes if you're in full clothes, it is a little intimidating of like trying to stand up, like, man, if I fall, I'm just gonna like ruin my phone. And so my clothes of them like on their knees or like sitting down, like, all right, I'm leaning.
I have not done that, but I feel like if I did that, I would leave my phone at home, I guess.
You're just going to go out and about and be like, oh, hang on, let me just leave this here in case you need me. I'm not available.
Right. Well, yeah, I think it's totally fine to be like, I'm going to be out standing paddle boating. You can't call me for an hour or two. I think that's reasonable. You're like, that's impossible.
We'll agree to disagree in the digital age.
Okay, fine. Well, speaking of the digital age, we see them leave and they're in space for a second, but then all of a sudden they're in this CGI tunnel, and I believe these are actually CGI models. they were very blurry and moving a lot, so it was hard to get a clear shot. But I think for certain times in this tunnel, it's early CGI in Power Rangers, which also makes sense because the Sentai is based on like cyberspace and virtual reality.
Yeah, I could see them like booting up or whatever,
and it would be okay if
a computer.
And it would be okay if it wasn't perfect because it's supposed to be CGI.
Yep.
Real quick in chat, what is it? Little Bigdawg. Everyone's like a Little Bigdawg. Show goals, get demonetized.
Young Dog. I like that as an alternative.
Young
as well.
Dog. Young BDD.
There we go.
BDDMC.
Man, I have so many like aliases now.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a full sheet.
You'll be like
full Excel doc.
It'll be like Puff Daddy, where he changed to Puff Diddy and Puff D and Little Did and all these little variations. P Diddy.
D Patty.
D Patty. Lily Pad. Wait, that's Kermit the Frog's rapper name.
Yeah. That's what he goes. That's his name that he uses when he doesn't want to be credited on something.
Right, Lily Pad.
Like a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
I'd rather not have my name on this one.
That was a good impression. I will give you full props on that.
Okay, thanks.
Well done. Let's give it up for the
no.
Gazbot and his Kermit the Frog impression. Please, clap it up.
That's how he cheers. All right, so back on the planet Earth, where I guess, well, for all we know, the Muppets exist on this world too. But once again, like, oh, have you heard about the Muppets? Yeah, but they're not real. And then an episode shows up.
They're in a comic book. Oh my god.
Miss
Piggy just morphed.
She shows up. Well, she knows karate. She could show up with like a nice, hi-ya, like kick to somebody.
Just out of nowhere, just boom, takes out a Clipper or somebody.
So this guy, I didn't catch his name. He probably said it, but I forget. He was just a Monster of the Week guy. So
Evil police theme monster is how I remember him.
Evil police theme monster,
isn't he? Go to a next screen grab and let's see the front.
I mean, you think he's police?
I mean, his hat kind of looks like a police hat, like
maybe
an old-timey cop hat.
We'll go a little further, but he's drawing energy from this energy tower or whatever it is.
It may be Electro Tramp. I haven't looked at chat at all, but that
sounds right.
Guess.
It definitely had like electric in his name. Oh wait a minute, Mac had like you acting like you.
I love how you actually took me seriously when I tried to be as sarcastic as possible.
Well, because I was listening, because you said, not that I've looked at chat, but I kind of didn't quite, like I heard Electro Tramp and my mind stopped. I'm like, that sounds kind of right. And you're like, not that I haven't looked at chat. I'm like, wait, what? Like it processed in two parts.
So I love and hate this scene.
Okay. Why?
But you have to keep going.
Okay, they show up. Well, I'll say this. I didn't like that they made such a big point of the Galaxy Gliders, and then they land as though they had teleported. Like, they're just streaks of light that land. Like, the whole Galaxy Glider thing didn't make any sense. Shouldn't they have landed on the surfboard things and gotten off?
A likely story. Just going back.
Are you quoting Masked Rider again?
Yes. We didn't send Galaxy Gliders to the likes of you.
Your garments betray you. Is it garments or clothing? I always forget.
Garments.
Your garments betrayed you.
Yep.
What happened to Silver Ranger? C3P Blue. Hello, welcome to the chat. Silver had not shown up yet at this point. This is only the fourth episode. 4. Yeah, so he comes in later in the season. He would have sorted all this out had he been there.
Yeah.
Also,
go for it.
Well, it's also pretty good because there are normally 4 Turtles and 6 Power Rangers, but because they hadn't got the 6th Ranger yet, and because in this version of the Turtles they had a 5th member, it was like an even amount. So when they were fighting and teaming up, it kind of worked out that way well.
Yep.
You were about to say something about Zane?
Oh, I was going to say Zane's a gem, and he is much needed here, so Andros is less of a jerk.
We're going to get into the Andros hate. It's funny because last episode I thought Andros was a big jerk. This episode he didn't bother me as much, and I feel like our opinions are going to flip a little here.
This is what frustrates me, is last episode they painted him as a huge jerk.
Right.
So this episode he's less of a jerk, even though he's still a jerk. They just masked it with him having some sense and logic, but he's still a jerk.
Okay, all right. Well, so the fight starts, and it kind of reminds me of the fight with Ecliptor, where he's like, okay, I got my Spiral Saber, I'm going in, and attacks, and it kind of attacks on his own, and then immediately Electro Tramp, which basically makes him just seem like a homeless person with electricity. I could kind of see what you mean with the police hat thing, but the rest of the body just looks like a crazy mess of like wires and stuff, so maybe it's supposed to be like a conductor's hat, like for a train?
Or maybe his hat's like a satellite that we can't see.
Yeah, maybe, because I don't think it has a police theme at all. I think it's all electricity.
That's all I thought when I looked at him.
Well, you were wrong. And so then, like with Ecliptor, he immediately does an attack that like basically knocks them all down.
Yeah.
Let me check chat real quick. Mechanical Electrotramp is a hybrid of two O-Ranger Zeo suits. Oh, interesting. Borax the Varox. I can't say it. The bounty hunters that defeated Gold, and the unused police theme one that we didn't get in Zeo. Okay, but this makes sense. If they mash together some costumes.
Point 1, Dawg Defender. Point 0.
No, because I'm right. Because I said everything other than the head looks like electromagnetic, cables and things.
Words
like that.
have no meaning in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover.
That's true. I agree with that. So they get knocked down once, and immediately, this guy's too strong. How are we going to beat him? Which is always like a flag for a power up, or
trope.
Something is going to come up and save him. Because like, how many times have they fought someone got knocked down once? Then they keep fighting for a while, but like you get knocked down once, say he's too strong. You're about to get a power up, or a new person is going to come and save you. And so you see this green smear, which is the Ninja Turtles that somehow, as they're teleporting in, they block the like. If you look, can you see my little mouse? Yeah, that's his blast. That's the Ninja Turtles, and they kind of meet in the middle, and yet the Ninja Turtles aren't hurt, so it's like when you're teleporting, you're in a force field, I guess. Things that aren't explained, but that's fine.
Well, I chalked it up as they can't teleport, but Astronema can teleport them wherever she wants with that green beam like we see from her command center thing.
I agree that she teleported them, but I'm saying that their teleportation beam deflected his attack, which was too powerful for the Power Rangers.
Oh, you know what just frustrated me?
What?
Sorry. They were teleported in, and then after this, have problems with transportation.
Right. That's a good point, which we know is because they're double agents working for Astronema. But the Ranger... No. It's fine. It's fine. Because, and this is like 3 scenes from now, but after the fight, they're like, how did you get here? And the Turtles are like, we don't know. So they play up that it's like amnesia. They don't know how they got there. So it's not like, oh, why don't you use your teleportation to get back? They're like, we don't even know how we got here. So it is explained.
Fine.
Yeah.
I still don't like it, but that makes more sense than
Bink.
what I was thinking.
There's one for me. All right. So
even.
So they show up and they're like, we're going to take care of this guy. And this is where TJ's like, what could it be? And then Ashley comes up and she's like, it is. It's the Ninja Turtles, or some words to that effect. Yeah. So this goes back to what we were saying before. They definitely know who they are. Whether they think they're real entities that live in their world, or they just knew them as fictional characters, is unclear. But they definitely knew who they were.
No, they immediately go, that's the Ninja Turtles, and I have full trust in them.
Well,
that moment they go, there is no lies here. You guys are trustworthy, 100%.
Which lends credibility to think that they exist in their world. Because if the Ninja Turtles existed in my world, I would trust them. They're heroes in a half shell. We all know this. They're a little goofy, but they're good guys. I would trust them. However,
I like how casually you said heroes in a half shell.
Well, I'm just stating facts. I
know. Continue.
But in the world we actually live in, where sadly the Ninja Turtles are fictional, and I only know them from cartoons and movies and things.
As far as we know.
As far as we know. But if the Ninja Turtles suddenly showed up, I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to meet you. I'd be like, what is happening? Is this a trick? Have I lost my mind? Are you evil, like impersonators? So I can understand why they might be skeptical, but you're right. If they do treat them with trust immediately, which leans more towards the idea that the Ninja Turtles are known to exist in this universe or dimension.
Maybe.
But the Ninja Turtles also then immediately start attacking our hybrid villain, which only exists in America Toku, which we now know.
Yep.
And they do a decent job with the fight choreography of it was hard to get still shots, but of doing the rolling off each other's shells and kind of making jokes, and cool. They did a good job of making it be Ninja Turtle fighting versus just standard karate or moves that the Power Rangers would do. It was like that goofy kind of. I always think of the Ninja Turtles as the kind of karate and martial arts they do is the equivalent of the Harlem Globetrotters, if you know who they are. I don't follow basketball.
They play basketball.
Yeah, they beat everybody by doing weird dribbles underneath their armpits that pops up the back of their head, and they hand it to somebody when you're not looking and go whoop, 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 and do Three Stooges antics. That's how I think of the Ninja Turtles when they fight like this. They're effective, but unnecessarily complicated and
thematic.
Yeah. This was the main scene where the mouth movement did not work. There were several where it was, but literally, I forget what her line is here. She's something like, "Oh, get away from me! We're gonna get you," and her mouth doesn't move. And not oh, it flapped once or nothing. It was the worst. And it's not even an action scene, so I don't know why they didn't reshoot it. You know what I mean? It's just a one shot of her talking. Is that somebody ran out of time because they should have done a take 2 on that one. But again, going back to the fighting, this is her. She does this like flip up onto a ladder to punch him in the face move, which is ridiculous but very Turtles, so I'm okay with
Yeah.
I'm okay with it because it's Turtles, but especially this version of the Turtles, the Next Mutation, which is not my favorite, but it is true to what they're doing. So it's like, okay, you know, I appreciate that they're making them different, because otherwise they're just color-coded karate superheroes like the Power Rangers. So this, you know, there's a distinction there, and that's you hate it.
I don't hate it. What I hate is the next part with the energy ball.
Oh, I'll get back to that. Let me check chat real quick because CP3 Blue says, "Do you think the Ninja Turtles shut off the Power Rangers in space to wait? Do you think the Ninja Turtles shut off the Power Rangers in space to defeat the Psycho Rangers?"
Oh, maybe should have.
Should have. That would have been interesting. I was gonna say cool, but it might not have been cool. You know, the fact that they didn't goes back to maybe they're not in the same dimension. And maybe once they got back to New York, they went through some portal and disappeared, because we never see them again. Spoilers, they never show up again in the history of Power Rangers. And at this point, they probably won't, because Nickelodeon owns the rights and Hasbro owns the rights to Power Rangers, so it's two different companies.
But Hasbro does put it on Nickelodeon.
Well, they have to, contractually, because Saban had made that deal.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's less likely than it used to be. But that wasn't the question. The question was, do you think the Ninja Turtles should have helped the Psycho Rangers? I am glad they didn't. While I find the crossovers fun, I think the Psycho Rangers were some of the scariest, most intense, serious villains the Rangers ever faced. And putting in some goofy characters might have undercut that. And also, even if they weren't goofy, even if it was just other heroes helping them, I like that it kind of felt like, what are we going to do? Like, we might not win. I liked that the stakes were raised during that timeline.
And it was their opposites, their exact opposites.
Yes. And later in Lost Galaxy, when the Psychos came back, then I did like that In Space came to help, because they're like, whoa, you know, we barely beat these guys. You guys are going to need our help. You know, we'll help you out with that. And I thought that was cool, too. Except, once again, there was no Silver Ranger, whereas that time there should have been, but whatever. So moving back to the episode. So this is the part. So he's like, okay, I'm facing the Turtles now. I'm going to make one of these balls of energy that took out all the Power Rangers in one shot. They said it was too powerful. And I was with you. And the first time I saw this is one of the parts, you know, years ago where I was like, that was stupid. This is like undercutting everything. But when I watched it this time, it didn't bother me as much. And I have a good reason. He catches it with a sword, which seems silly. Why would he be able to do it? Okay, it's some kind of magical, mystical sword, whatever. At this point, my apologetics for the logic in universe disappears. I will grant you this makes no sense in universe. Why are they able to do this? You know, I can start making stuff up like they're mutant DNA. No, it just doesn't make sense. Here's why I'm okay with it. Leo catches it. He kicks it over to whoever else, Raph, and then he's like, okay, now you get it. And he throws it to Mikey, and he's like, Mikey, okay. And then throw it up to Donnie. He hits it up, and Venus, in the air, gives it a soccer ball style kick, which blows up the bad guy. That's ridiculous. That's stupid. That's exactly how they did finishers in the first Super Sentai Go Ranger. They had a bomb soccer ball, and they would pass it to each one of them. Aka, Ki, Ao, Mido. So this was a huge Super Sentai reference and homage. You like that?
I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
I'll give it to you.
2
Well
points.
done.
2 points. But when I first
I'll
saw
give you 3. That was a 2-pointer, because
Okay.
when you started that,
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way he's explaining this and apologizing for it. So I'll give you 2 for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We're 3-1.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm with you. When I saw it the first time, having not seen Go Ranger, I'm like, that was the dumbest thing I ever saw. Now, having seen Go Ranger, I'm like, that was them paying tribute to those that came before.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, and you couldn't do it with a regular Power Ranger team.
You couldn't.
But with the goofy Ninja Turtle way they fight, looks like people are agreeing with me online too.
I'm so frustrated that I overlooked this so much and didn't appreciate it, and I'm so sorry for everybody 20 years ago who made this episode that this went over literally everybody's head.
Yeah, well, but now it gets its appreciation. And because when they started doing it, I remembered how I felt originally. Like, this is, oh, I know what this is. And I'm like, if it ends in a kick, it ended in the kick. So I was very excited. And that, amongst other things, because again, that was one of the worst parts of the episode that suddenly became one of my favorite parts of the episode.
Yeah, that's better now.
Okay.
So the monster's defeated. You have 2 points on the board, and now we're all talking as Rangers and Turtles.
Baboo says they're called Easter eggs for a reason. It's true. They hatch 20 years later.
True. The slow burn.
There you go. So at this point, they're like, whoa, you're the Ninja Turtles. Whoa, you're the Power Rangers. And they have that moment where everybody's... Now, if you notice in the shot, you don't see Carlos, but more importantly, you don't see Andros. And this leads into something that I'm sure you're going to want to talk about. Oh, but before we get to that, of course, Michelangelo was like, hey, hello, pretty lady. You're bodaciously hot. Which is, again, he hits on every woman he sees. But he doesn't know what she looks like at all. She has a helmet on and is covered head to toe. All she knows is that she could fight. And that's fine, and maybe he finds that attractive. But he's like, you're pretty and beautiful, and it's just like, it's just weird.
I think I'm going to chalk this up to a Captain Jack, kind of parallel.
Oh, sure. Or the fact she's wearing yellow reminds him of April, maybe.
Ooh, that could work as well.
But yeah, I agree. It's more of an affectation than actual flirting. Now, here's the shot of Andros. He's like, I don't know.
Disapproving Andros is disapproved.
Yeah, he is disapproving. Disapproving Andros is disapproving. So do you want to keep going, or do you want to address this now?
So I don't like how I have to agree with Andros after hating what he did in the last episode. In Ranger stuff last episode, he was good. As Andros as a civilian, he was a total jerk and turd. And now
wow,
I have to agree
harsh.
with him because everyone is just like, no, you know what, TJ? Yeah, let's get him on. Where do you guys need to go? It doesn't matter. We'll take you wherever you want. Do you want access to our systems? Here's the password: 848417 exclamation point. Let's get it going, guys. I hate how accommodating everybody was, except for Andros, who ends up being the only voice of reason that I can agree with. Rant over.
So we're in agreement. I would have given you one shot if I knew that was going to be such a good rant.
No, it's okay.
So we're in agreement that Andros is right, and it's a little frustrating. But because we had talked last episode about how he was kind of being a jerk, and he was like hard to root for. And I thought you were like, he's even worse this episode. And I'm like, he's not. He's better. But you're mad that after deciding you didn't like him and he was annoying and he's a jerk, that now you have to be on his team and kind of cheer for him.
I know, begrudgingly. It's like when somebody you really don't like says something and you're like, I hate everything you do, but you're not wrong.
Kind of like when I gave you that reference about Go Rangers a minute ago.
No, because I like you. You're a cool guy. Other people, less so.
People are liking my idea about the April and the yellow thing. Mm-hmm. There you go. Now it's new canon.
I mean, it's a cool little potential Easter egg, but honestly, Astronema couldn't have been more far away from April, and he's just like, hey, pretty lady.
True.
But I chalk it up as a Captain Jack kind of syndrome.
I think it's probably a Captain Jack syndrome, but I'm going to also say that he chose yellow over pink because of April, because there was two ladies there.
I think also she was just in front of him, and he's like, yup, tunnel vision.
So because I'm ahead in points, you can't give me this little concession?
If it was the true, I give you 2 points for the last one.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so they're all buddies and everybody's happy, and then Andros, and they're like, sure, we'll take you on the ship. And Andros like, guys, can I talk to you for a minute? Should we really be doing this? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. And I agree. He is being totally reasonable, and he's not being a jerk. Like, get out of here, turtles. He's like, guys, maybe we should talk about this. And they're kind of jerks because they don't go, what do you mean? What do you think? They're just like, no, it's fine. And then TJ's like, come pick us up immediately. And they teleport away, and then and then he's behind. And so it's this weird thing where even though he was a jerk in the past, he's being fair.
The most reasonable guy.
To the point where they are now jerks, because literally he's like, let's talk about this. And they're like, no, goodbye. And don't even wait for him. They all teleport out, and he's just sitting on Earth like... I wonder if... in his mind, he's like, I guess this is because I was such a jerk last time. Maybe I need to dial it back a little bit, and then they'll listen to me.
I don't understand Earth customs at all, but I do know tomfoolery because it's a universal concept.
Right. But I do feel like this is a theme with Andros throughout the season, where you like him and you hate him, and it's like a growth thing. So by the end, he's pretty cool, but there's a lot of ups and downs with his character and his likability. He's always competent, though. That's the thing. He's always a good soldier, but not always a good
he's never dumb.
Right.
He doesn't make really dumb I guess 1 or 2 episodes he actually does, but that's fair.
No more than any other ranger that they have to make mistakes, otherwise there'd be no show.
Yeah, that's true.
So now they're back on the ship with the turtles, And this version of the Turtles, like I said, like the Turtles always have like a little bit of a goofy and comedic edge. And depending on the comic or the show or whatever, it's more or less. I feel like this is the silliest, goofiest version of the Turtles
it's
ever.
like, here is the bar of goofiness.
Yeah.
And Mikey's here, and everyone else is here.
Yeah, it's a team full of goofy Michelangelos. And that's when Turtles are done badly, that's what it is. Everybody's Michelangelo. And I don't have a problem with Michelangelo, but you need the different personalities to make it work. If
you need a grumpy Raph that everybody has to convince to work with everyone.
And a Leonardo that's always worried about the rules and honoring Splinter, and Donatello who's just a nerd, and like you need that dynamic. And just like Power Rangers has that dynamic. You have like the alpha male, and you have the Lancer character, and you have the smart one, and the whatever and the like all the different come together, and that's what Turtles are too. But like somehow this version of them, again, the personalities, with the exception of Raph in the beginning, where they actually got it right, the personalities are interchangeable, where they're all basically bodacious, crazy, dude. Whoa, and that's like all of
Donnie has his like classic Donnie moment in a little while
because he does the tech, but the way he's speaking and acting could have been
everybody's
anybody. Yeah. So they get a pizza here. Oh, this is something I wanted to bring up. This was a missed opportunity. The last episode, part 1, where they were barely in it, I had a note. Let me see if I can find it. Elgar goes to some machine and orders a pizza, and he gets extra peanut butter on it, I think. And it was just a weird order. I could be getting, it might have been mayonnaise. I think he was like, give me a pizza, extra peanut butter. And it was like a Ninja Turtle kind of pizza order.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, at some point they're going to have like, because I didn't remember the episode well enough. They must call back to that and have the Ninja Turtles and him like bond over their gross pizza or whatever. Never happens. And even in this moment where they get the pizza, he could have just been like, with extra pizza, peanut butter, dude. Nope, just, hey, they got pizza. They got everything. And I was like, what a weird, it seemed like they set up a joke in part 1 and just forgot about it.
I think I'm going to chalk that up to they didn't realize it and or rushing the episode.
Yeah, and it's a little thing, but it was just something that when I saw, I was like, this is going to definitely, a pizza joke is definitely going to come back. Yeah. So he's excited about the pizza. And then
double missed opportunity.
Yes.
TJ could have actually anybody on the team could have easily brought up the Turbo episode where they're baked into a pizza.
Yes. Oh, you like pizza so much, not when you're inside it or something like that. Absolutely right.
I can't eat pizza anymore. It's a long story.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I didn't even think of that. But that's a missed opportunity between seasons, so it's more forgivable. And a missed opportunity between episodes, that's a little. Let's see. Real Baboo says it could have been filmed but cut from final. Oh, that's true too, because it wasn't important to the story. But again, even in this scene, they could have just put in like an ADR of like extra peanut butter, which wouldn't have been an amazing joke, but it would just be a callback to like that's the type of pizza.
And also, while they're looking like this is how oblivious these Rangers are. No wonder they lost their powers. He's back there scoping out all the Galaxy Glider stuff.
Right.
Just hey.
Yeah, but look at it this way: if they were not mind-controlled Ninja Turtles, that's what they'd be doing. They'd be curious and looking at the cool stuff, and like it's normal behavior.
100% agree.
Right.
But you already know before this, Andros was like, "Whoa, I don't trust you guys,
right.
even though you're new Rangers." But and now he's got turtles running around. And he's like, "I guess I'm wrong."
Well, yeah, and I mean, I keep coming back to maybe because he messed up so much last episode, and everybody was kind of like shutting him down so much. He's like, I better pull back, but he pulled back on the wrong thing.
His guilt of not teaching Ashley telekinesis in their deal is just weighing on him so
maybe
heavily.
Maybe she wasn't able to teach him pool. Maybe this was like payback. So now we cut back and we see a monitor where we see the Turtles and the Rangers interacting. And who's watching them? Is it Astronema? Nope. It's Andros, and he's actually spying on them. And the ship is actually like, "Are you spying on them?" And he's kind of like, "No, I'm just watching them," or something like. It's like that's spying.
Yeah.
I feel like what he should have said is like I'll be Andros, right? I'm looking at my pad. You be Deca. You have to ask.
Are
me.
you spying on them?
What's spying?
Words have no meaning.
Yeah, because I feel like that's his best move. He asks a question and walk away. But no, he kind of poo-pooed it away as though it's somehow not spying. I pulled this shot because I didn't notice until this time around her like bandana.
Oh no,
is
I
braided.
actually noticed that a little while ago. Yeah, I always assumed it was her hair, and then I was like, I don't know how she has hair if she's a turtle, but whatever.
Right.
But yeah, now seeing it, I think it's a cool little.
I
thing.
agree. I'll give credit where credit's due. Whoever decided that was a nice touch. Thanks, Baboo. All right, so let's. Also, a lot of this set design, I feel like was out roughly contemporary to Star Trek: The Next Generation, because a lot
Maybe.
of the things in this remind me of it. Not like it's copied exactly, but just the types of controls and stuff on here, like just makes me think of the kind of flat pads with like a glowing color on
Mhm.
black that you see a lot in Star Trek: The Next Generation.
There was a lot of overlap of sci-fi related stuff around this time
Yeah, like even
with
this,
Power Rangers.
it makes sense because maybe it could just be influence in design and that's what was popular at the time, but it could also be maybe they were getting pieces. Like if you told me half of the megaship was stuff from the first season of Next Generation, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
Like because it's not exact, but there's a lot of similarities. Like this thing behind them kind of looks like the warp core, and they had a lot, and obviously they're spaceship designs. We're humans imagining what it would be
Who
like, but
who put out Next Gen in the 90s?
Paramount.
On what network?
It was Channel 11 on the East Coast. It would be CW now. Back then, I think it was. I don't know what it was.
WB.
It was WB, and before that, it was something else. It was like
Okay.
WPIX or something
Well,
like that.
WB obviously is completely different, so there's no
Yeah, no.
overlap. But what I was thinking is if it was on Fox, then they just
No,
reused
it wasn't
stuff.
that. But as we know, the next season, Lost Galaxy, reused a lot of props from Starship Troopers.
I've been waiting this whole time to say that when you were done with your Next Gen stuff, because I needed a fun fact. But yeah, you're right.
Why don't you elaborate on that?
No, that's fine. You're good. But no, I was waiting for you to finish and be like, actually, fun fact. In Power Rangers
Sorry.
Lost Galaxy,
I'm
somebody
sorry.
behind the scenes. No, you're good. But yeah, for those who don't know, in the first 2 episodes of Lost Galaxy, they use the exact same suits as Starship Troopers.
Yeah. Like literally the same props that they bought, right?
Yeah, supposedly somebody behind the scenes, their girlfriend worked on the movie and they were able to use them for the pilot and the second episode, which I guess it was just kind of like one big episode.
Right.
And that's how they got them to save money.
I
and
don't remember the
hold
name of the
favors.
person you're talking to, but but they had worked on X-Men, the animated series as well. I saw them at Elusive Comics actually. They were doing a signing with some other people, and I had a Power Ranger shirt on, and I wasn't even there to talk about that, but like I was doing whatever I was doing, and they were like, "Oh, I used to work on Power Rangers," and I worked on. They were there for X-Men, but they mentioned they had worked on Power Rangers,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh yeah," and I somehow that came up, and they said like, "Oh yeah, my girlfriend helped me get props or something." Like, so like that exact story you're telling, it was like confirmed by this person.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm sorry to step on your fact. I didn't think that
No,
would come up
you're
since we're
fine.
not watching Lost Galaxy.
You're totally fine.
But my point was that if they did it with that, why not do it with Star Trek? And I've
100%.
never heard the story about Star Trek, but I feel like somebody out there somewhere worked on both or got some in a sale or something,
Maybe it's something you can ask at Ranger Stop in November if
Sure.
you're going.
Yeah, well, I don't know who I would ask though. It would have to be somebody. I mean, the actors might know, but I feel like it'd be more of a production thing behind the scenes. Yeah. Anyway, so they're here in the Starship Enterprise next to the warp core. They're looking for Geordi, and she's basically like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm not sure if you trust them. And as we go down, I don't know why I took that screenshot. I think that was a mistake. As we pan down, and then there's main computer control, which is conveniently located because you want everyone to know where it is.
Super CGI'd too.
You think it's CGI?
Oh, 100%.
I
Those
thought it was
screws look fake.
I agree it looks fake. I thought they printed this out and stuck it on there like a piece of paper or a sticker.
From this screen grab, it looks CGI. But if it's in a supplemental shot from an angle, then I'll agree with
Let's
you
see.
that it's a sticker.
That's Deca going, what are you doing? Yeah, I think that's the only shot. So it might be CGI, but that seems like a huge waste of resources when you could just print it out. I don't know. Well, it might be one of those things where it cost more, but they had already filmed it, so they had to
Yeah,
or something. 'Cause
exactly.
Yeah, and I did. Everyone in the knowledge zone. I'm sorry about that.
No,
so,
you're totally
So
good.
Deca's like, what are you doing? And inside here, wait, where is it? Deca's like, what are you doing? You're not authorized. And you look inside, and it looks crazy. It doesn't look like a computer, but it's a futuristic, sentient computer on a spaceship from another planet. I'm fine with it. It looks
Yep.
interesting. Totally fine with that.
Totally cool.
Yeah. And then. Oh, so Andros realizes what's happening and he drops his sonic screwdriver or whatever that is. They had
Yeah.
some cool angles. Like this is like a very dynamic, like here he's going.
Yeah.
And this is where he's gonna get his moment of truth.
And
Because
apparently he was welding with that helmet on the ground.
I mean maybe somebody else was or
I think that's like a futuristic, like, don't need a tank welder, and that's why he had it.
but
He was doing work to
I
clear
thought he
his
was just
mind.
looking at a pad where he was spying on them.
He was, but then I think when Cassie
I'm
was
going
talking
back.
to him, he was doing stuff.
Oh,
to
and
work
I
on
didn't
the
get a
ship.
screenshot of that because he was coming down the ladder. Gotcha. Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. So he's running to stop him, and then we see the close-up. Well, who could be doing this? I don't understand. Oh, right, the Ninja Turtles. They're bad. We knew this. I forgot.
It's confirmed.
Yeah, but I do think that's good for, like, there probably were kids back in the day that, like, oh, the Ninja Turtles are bad, but they don't act bad at all. They make jokes, they save them,
kind of confusing.
and they kind of forget, and then they're like, oh, right, they're bad. So like, it might have actually been a reveal for some people. And Decca's like, don't do that. And they're like, now you've been turtlefied. And she's like, whoa, I've been turtlefied. And she kind of talks like that alpha.
6.
Yeah. So maybe that was like something that the turtles left behind. Like, there's a little voice chip you might want to use later. Whoa. So, and this was pretty good too. He comes around the corner and they're like, now we're evil, and immediately put a sword to his throat. Like, that's pretty brutal. They're not just like, let me kick you. They're like, let me try and chop your head off real quick. And he gets away, but I just thought that was such a bold opening evil move.
This is yet another scene where it's like, oh, Andros unmorphed, takes down all 3 turtles, and then is able to run away. And I'm like, he was a total jerk. Why are you giving him this moment?
Well, he is supposed to be.
He looks so freaking cool. Why are you doing this to me? Why is that not TJ? Why is somebody else not doing this? You're making me like him too much, and I don't appreciate it after last episode.
I mean, I agree with. I get your feelings, but he is supposed to be the leader. He is supposed to be a Red Ranger. He's supposed to be a veteran. It makes sense that he would be a good fighter.
Honestly, I'm more mad at my childhood self, who 100% after this was like, Andros is the best, probably my favorite Ranger next to Jason. And now I'm like, no, I have to have flaws in this logic. He can't be right. He can't be that good. Well, is he really that good?
Here's what I'll put out there, because we saw the entire team of Rangers get bested by Electro-Tramp. And then the Ninja Turtles took out Electro-Tramp. Oh, you know what? Here's an in-universe thing I didn't think of. I was saying, it's a reference, so I don't care. Electro-Tramp and the Turtles are both working for Astronema.
Yeah.
She could have set it up so that they were immune to his powers, or done something. So there's the in-universe how they could actually do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good. So even better. But they so theoretically though, by the logic of it, they should be destroying him. He's unmorphed. There's more of them. They've already proven to be as powerful as the Power Rangers, but they are heroes. And even though they're mind controlled, they might be holding back. You know, there's always that thing of like, they're not as good at fighting because their conscience is struggling. No, why? Why?
No, I think he's honestly just that good.
Okay. It is cool, though.
I hate to admit it.
It is cool, though, that like some civilian fighting.
He just, boom, moves on. Boom, boom. Okay, now you guys are up and are aware that we're fighting, so I'm going to book it.
Right, and that is good strategy, too. He's not like, I'm going to be such a badass. Like,
everything he does, I can't argue with. So conflicting.
And now Decca's like kind of veering out of control again, a la Star Trek. Although every spaceship show does that, so that's not really fair of me to say.
Side note: one of my favorite things in both this and Lost Galaxy, and they do it in the bloopers at the end of some of the episodes, is them trying to act because of the angles, like the ship's moving and there's an earthquake or something. Right. So I love to see and like fall over it, and it's just so fun to think about how many times they had to be like, "All right, and your hit." Action.
You are absolutely right. And it's funny, for those that don't know, the Bigdawg hasn't watched much, if any, Star Trek, right? Like, you saw one of the movies or something?
I saw the Chris Pine original movie.
Okay. I've seen every Star Trek there is. And I appreciate what you're saying, but that is...
all of Star Trek.
All of Star Trek. And a lot of old science fiction, not just Star Trek, but especially the first season of Star Trek is constantly
bits and pieces of the original series.
Yeah. But you might enjoy it because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, other people, I would recommend different Star Treks for different reasons. You're like, I like people falling and pretending to fall. Original series is for you, buddy. Original series is for you.
Yup.
So they're pretending that, you know, the ship is in danger, which and then they're heading away from Earth, or was it away from Earth or to Earth?
I think they're going
away. No, away, because Astronema is trying to hijack
it.
Yes.
Yep.
So they're heading away from Earth, and Alpha's like, oh boy, we need to rectify this situation because it's not pleasant and it won't result in a good outcome for all of us. So please expedite the process of rectifying it for me. Thank you. And then Astronema shows up. No, I don't remember that at all. Then Astronema shows up, of course, with Elgar.
So quick, too.
Yeah, real quick.
That's one thing from a villain standpoint that I like, is the second the shields were down, she's like, and we're in.
Yeah. She's competent. She's definitely competent.
She's in the top 10 for sure, easily.
I'd put her in top 5.
I probably would. I just have to think about it more because I don't want to be one of those things where I'm like, actually, she's 7 because I really like these.
Well, I put her higher because I feel like if she didn't – this is spoilers if you haven't seen In Space stop listening for the rest of the show. I don't know.
We'll flail our arms when you can listen.
I don't think that's ever gonna work. But she turns good, and if she didn't turn good, she might have been able to beat him. She certainly would have done better. You know what I mean? So I feel like
they overloaded on how much bad they gave her is part of the reason why.
But what I'm saying is, in terms of her being a competent villain trying to defeat them, the main thing that stopped her was her being good. They may or may not have beat her, but the main reason she was beaten was because she turned good, and so that puts her higher up than a villain who never turned good and just straight up failed. There's that question. So she shows up, and
hang on, we gotta flail so people know.
That's not gonna work.
I did it anyway.
Okay. My eye itches. Should I put my finger in it? I love this Quantron
Yes.
comes in because he's clearly they like attack, and the stunt person, the suit actor, doesn't want to hit the other suit actor playing Alpha and doesn't want to hit the civilian actors, but they come in and don't like miss. They come in and this is the console, and they basically go I just punch the crap out of this console. Like that's what they meant to do.
I've fallen.
Yeah, I dug that. It was good. Like it was silly, but it made sense at the same time.
Yeah.
And so then the turtles are like, yeah, we're evil too. You're not getting, because they capture Alpha. They're like, you're not getting Alpha back. If we have anything to say about it. And then we get some cool civilian fighting from Ashley and Cassie.
Yes.
But then they, like Andros, know when to retreat, so they back out, and that's cool.
They immediately would have been bested by Raph, who I've determined is the greatest of the turtles in this iteration.
Yes, because he would have walked up and be like, "Let me ask you something," as he kicks one away. And he's like, "Are you ready?"
He's just like, "Yep," and
Yeah.
nope. I'm gonna conveniently ask you, "Where do you want to go to dinner later?" Boom, took out the entire army.
Yeah, and then Mikey swoops in. With me, dude.
Hey, oh, pretty lady, ooh, Michelangelo.
So then we cut, and we got TJ and Carlos.
Look
are
at
fighting.
that face acting.
It's good. Especially because the other actor's probably like going like barely moving, and he's like.
That's what we need for the thumbnail. Let's just thumbnail it right now. We are way too out of this to be into it.
Well, it's a silly episode that we're reviewing, so it only
know,
makes
it's
sense
so
that we
great.
get silly.
I love it. I love how just it's so much. Good.
So Astronema is now like, cool, I got the ship, everything's awesome, we're winning. And then they start turning the ship around to head, I guess, towards Dark Spectre specifically. Mm-hmm. He calls. She's like, yeah, we got this all on lockdown. Not only do I have the ship, I got the Rangers, and I got these Ninja Turtles. I'm the best ever. The only thing that could stop me is if I turn good, and that'll never happen. But then Leo's like, actually, we only got 4 of the Rangers. And she puts her hand on his nose to shut him up, which I think I wondered if I do love her face.
I think it's a behind the scenes thing.
Because I feel like she could have missed. The actress could have missed. But I feel like they might have told her, don't put your hand in the mouth because there's all that mechanical stuff and it's going to mess it up.
And if you scratch it,
yeah.
Thing.
And that's, again, the thing you wouldn't notice unless you're going frame by frame like I am, but I definitely noticed it. And so Dark Spectre, like, just lets that go. And then she's like, go find the other ones.
Well, you know about Dark Spectre, that knowledge zone time.
Okay.
So for those that think that he looks incredibly familiar, it's because he is. If you've seen Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, he is Lord Malagor that Divatox marries in the film and then quickly gets destroyed to show that the Turbo powers are greater than the Zeo powers. Just cuz.
Just cuz.
There we go.
So thank you for that knowledge zone, Bigdawg.
Thank you.
So we go back, and now we see that they're tied up with these crazy filament things, whatever they are. And here immediately we see more of Andros's. Oh, wait, before I get to that, sorry. This Quantron, I don't know if this happens at all the rest of the series, because I haven't seen it in a while. Mm-hmm. But it's certainly unique in that it's whatever you want to call him, a foot soldier, cannon fodder, a thug, like the baddies that we have millions of this season talk.
I don't remember him talking.
Here's why you might not remember that. Is because he doesn't go, hey, you stupid Power Ranger.
He goes,
right. But they're kind of like bang, 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 bang. It's like a putty noise, but more like mechanical.
Yeah.
But when I watched it, I listened. I'm like, wait, and I played it back again, and it's something along the lines of like,
You Rangers are so stupid. We're too powerful. You'll never win.
And I'm like, what? And I played it back, and it's absolutely, under all the filtered stuff, you can hear an actor saying like trash talking basically.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't remember that ever happening before. And it was and I don't know if it was something that they intended to do later in the series and didn't, or if maybe they always talk and just filter it out so you can't hear what they say. But
I remember the noise that they make, so maybe
Right.
that happened the entire time, and this is just now like shattered glass affecting my mind.
I mean, I'd have to go back and watch more episodes to see.
All right, fine. We'll watch in space again. You don't need to just. Fine. I'll watch the arguably greatest season of Power Rangers all over again. Don't tell me twice.
You tricked them, everybody. Matt Ken LeClaire says, nice knowledge zone defender. That'll be interesting for the ones that didn't know about Malagor's suit being used for Dark Spectre. Yeah, agreed. That was a good little trivia bomb. Especially if you've only watched the show, if you didn't ever see that movie, you would definitely not know. So he backs away, and TJ's like, what smells? Is that guy farting? No. TJ's like, I see something moving.
Superior face acting #1.
Wouldn't that be #2? He was still going.
He probably smelled in #2, which is why
that's okay. You're a disgusting person. We don't do things like that here.
There's no fart jokes here. At
Power
Action
Rangers
Activate.
don't go to the bathroom. Actually, I wonder if that still.
I feel like somebody brings it up in some season.
There we go.
Like, what? I'm morphed. How do I go to the bathroom?
Has it happened? I don't remember that.
There's 26 seasons. I mean, it's bound to happen.
It's possible, but I feel like it's more one of those universes where it's not discussed. Oh wait, the real Baboo. The suits take care of that as well. Oh man. So we cut to Andros, and he's using his telekinesis once again, kind of like, which is twice in 2 episodes, and then barely at all again. And he gets the cutters, which might be the same ones that Donatello was using. They look very similar.
I think they are, yeah.
And he cuts it. And this is one of my other favorite parts of the episode, where the Quantron talks here too. He talks here too, because he's like, he sees it clatter to the floor. It makes a noise. And they all go, huh! And he comes over and he's like, what is that? So he literally speaks again. He's not trash talking, but he still speaks. And it's such a classic like comedy move that TJ's like, oh, those are cutters. We use those to cut this, and then he just hands it to him and just kicks him in the face. And like, I don't know, I love that. I
just love the double face acting we get right there. It's just superb.
Oh yeah.
He did like it may have been because it's the last season. They're like, do whatever you want. He's like, you know what? The Rock is a popular
wrestler
person in entertainment right now. The most electrifying, arguably. Let me just do his eyebrow raise.
Yeah, maybe you could smell what TJ's cooking.
Hey, we saw it before where he went.
And then he's like, hold this, yeah, jabroni, and then just gives him a kick.
It doesn't matter who Astronema is.
Speaking of Astronema, she's like, I got this all wrapped up. She's kicking back. She's fine.
I can't get over how great that costume is, too. It's so gaudy and all the right
You know what?
ways.
I go back and forth on what version of Astronema I like the best, but this one is starting to win me over. Because I like the colored hair stuff, but this costume and like...
The little, like, Batman arm guard thing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And she looks like a warrior. But then she sees, they're breaking out, so she sends the turtles after him. And here's another point where the Rangers like, okay, we got to move down the hall like soldiers.
Yep.
And here come the Ninja Turtles, whoops, bonk, doing like Bulk and Skull antics where they like crash into each other and fall. They're ninjas. They're ninjas. They've trained their entire life to move with grace and fluidity and have their minds be clear. And yet they're like, whoa, derp. And that I don't like that. Not a fan of that at all.
Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power.
So these guys jump down the cool chutes that we were introduced to earlier, and the turtles follow them, and they're going to jump down, but they say, well, we don't know where that's going to go or what's going to happen and whatever, so they don't, which is kind of weird because earlier they're like, here's where they go and here's what happens, but fair enough.
Well, arguably, if they all get Galaxy Gliders, they're like, there's not a glider to fall on. All right.
But also, do you notice that they didn't seem to go to the Galaxy Gliders because the next scene, we don't see the Galaxy Gliders. They're all in the Astro shuttle.
Don't try to explain plot holes to
me. Words have no meaning. So now she's talking to Elgar, and she's like, we got to get them back, turn the ship around. And Donnie's like, I'll get them with my crazy big hands. And they turn the main ship around.
Unkept nails.
Yeah, I don't know why, but they always have those hands, but that shot is just like, I'm not a fan. Let me see. Shut your mouth and know your role. Feel that, Boo. maybe the spaceship lurched. You're an apologist, real Baboo, because that could have happened, but the Rangers weren't falling. I think it was.
Oh, I know why his hands are like that, because those weird control sticks.
Oh, because he can't actually wrap them around.
Yeah, so he has
like,
to grab them with his
right,
giant
because
gorilla hands.
Because they weren't designed to operate those controls.
Yeah, just.
Yeah. Dolly Girl hands out like Frankenstein. Make ship go. One more copyright strike. All right, and
don't worry, we're only an hour in.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So they're getting chased. The Astro Mega ship is chasing the shuttle, and he's like, "We're no match against that. That's ridiculous." But luckily,
Mega Ranger footage clearly.
Yes, and luckily though, we have a little what do you call it? Deus Ex Machina.
A MacGuffin hole.
A MacGuffin hole, yes. Where just for some reason this shows up, and it's exactly what they need. And they're like, let's go in there. That'll scramble their circuits or whatever. And some more awesome face acting from Melody Perkins there.
Oh, it gets better.
Oh, it never stops. I couldn't catch them all, but and then he's like, oh, this scene I like too. This is good turtle humor. She's like, what is that up there? And he's like, whoa,
I love this.
You're asking me, a turtle from New York that lives in a sewer, what this cosmic event is? And she's like, what? And then she's like, well, it's and that was a good turtle joke. That was one of my.
The only downside is Mikey said it.
Yeah, but it's fine. Because Donnie might have known. So asking Donnie would have been bad.
No, I think Leo or Raph would have been the better ones. Mikey is just too all over the place in every other scene that he shouldn't be the one to deliver
the turtles in general are all over the place. I'm disappointed by the turtles throughout the entire episode, generally speaking. So what I'm doing is just picking the parts I like and saying this was good and trying not to analyze it too much because I actually enjoyed it for a second.
Who's the old comedian that used to have a giant hammer that like smashed watermelons?
Gallagher.
Which one?
Gallagher.
They are the Gallaghers of the Ninja Turtle iterations.
Let's go Carrot Top because I've laughed at some Carrot Top stuff more than Gallagher stuff.
I've laughed at Gallagher on Tosh.0, but only because he's being a caricature of himself.
Right. I will admit, while I don't love Carrot Top, I have seen some of his stuff, and it has made me laugh. Gallagher just kind of makes me sad. So, similarly, I'm disappointed with this version of the Turtles, but it has made me laugh. I did enjoy a few parts. So they are the Carrot Top version.
Well, and having Mikey there helps this whole
true.
kind of debate.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel with both of them, says Baboo. That's true. I mean, that's kind of the point, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So then she's like, Veer, that's she figures that's a reverse positivity, gook, whatever.
There's a polarity issue with Herbiderbider.
Now, the Rangers said something about how it would scramble their circuits, but what actually happens is all the turtles keep grabbing their eyes. And it's like, why are they grabbing their eyes? And it's because somehow this undoes her spell. And you see the purple in their eyes, and then it fades away. And when they pull out, she starts issuing orders, and they're like, nope, we ain't working for you no more. Yep. Now, the obvious question is why she doesn't use her staff again. The answer? I don't know. Are they immune now because of the radiation they just picked up? Can she only do it once?
In the immortal words of Michael Scott, fool me once, strike one. Fool me twice, strike three.
Okay, well, there we go. Strike three.
And Raph, boom, immediately hits somebody.
I'm going to pause real quick because my art finished, but it didn't loop. So my Black Ranger was done. I'm just going to pop him here and then move him over there. That's the finished art, everybody. And I'll move him over to the corner.
Real Baboo, it wasn't scraped that way. Or scripted that way, whoops.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the true answer to all of these questions. But, we try to make it make sense if possible, which we can't always do, but it's fun to speculate. But yeah, the script is the ultimate enemy or hero of the day. So they're like, we're not under your control anymore, and she's like, we got to get out of here. Do they just run away? I kind of forget. What is she saying there?
I think they teleport out.
Oh, they do, yeah. And Dekka's back to normal. Oh no, Dekka. That's right. She says, set the self-destruct, and Dekka's like, all right.
Oh,
1 minute, and it's still Turtle-fied, but like 1 minute, I'm gonna blow myself up, my dudes. And then they leave, and the turtles try to jump for her, but she's gone. And so, like, where'd she go? Oh, man. This part bothered me, too. They're like, whoa, she's gone. Hey, we have our own spaceship. They're good guys now. They stop because in a minute they hear that there's a countdown. They're good guys now. They're still okay with stealing the spaceship from the other heroes.
I think it's a found spaceship at this point.
But it's not because they.
No, I know. I can't apologize.
Like the villains left, fine, but they don't go. We got to go get the other Rangers, or hey, we could team up, or we have our own spaceship now, and that line bothered me.
Yeah,
and then
as it should.
And here they are doing their Home Alone impression.
That's so good, especially because it's Raph.
Yeah, and this is because the countdown is going and they can't shut it off. Now we cut down here, and there's a little bit of American footage with Astronema, but clearly this is Sentai footage, which I don't have a problem with. But it's just you see the shuttle land, and they get out, and then she teleports. It's kind of story-wise, it's like awkward, and it's just it's just a way to get them to be able to fight there. Baboo says salvage laws. But they were gone for so short a time. I guess salvage laws in space universe.
Right.
What is it? Squatters. Yeah. You were out shopping today. It's my house now. It's sorry. So again, some more intense face acting. But if you'll notice, she's like, go get them, and she doesn't get directly involved. Oh, before we get to that, though. Now they have to fix what he cut. And basically they just have to connect the wires. He can't remember which ones. And he's getting nervous. This is something that I'm guessing is from the Next Mutation series, not in the one episode I watched. But he's like, I can't remember which one it is. And she gets all like, hey, you could do it, buddy. And then they all bliss out. And
Part of the cards.
Yeah, but it's like about ninja meditation, okay, but she kind of touches him like maybe this is her power, I don't know, but it's like she chills him out and they're all like, but like he's a ninja too. I don't know. It's just so inconsistent.
Two words. Turtle power.
To the power?
Turtle power.
Oh, I see. And of course, then he remembers immediately. So here's Astronema, and they have a shot of her, so she looks like she's in the fight.
Playing with her hair.
Right. And she pulls this, and I'm a little unclear if this was American footage or Sentai footage, because she pulls out this weapon and throws it kind of like a boomerang. So she's
What is a boomerang?
Well, right, but I mean it's a crazy space whatever, but we see it hitting Rangers and Quantrons all along the way, and it hits Andros, and then it flies back to her. But she doesn't directly get involved, so I'm wondering if there was some weapon that attacked everybody in the Sentai that they just cut her in, or did they film a scene like this? And if so, why not actually have her? It's not important. I just wondered. It seemed like that, like if there was another character in the Sentai that threw some attack weapon, and then they just cut to her being the one to throw and catch it.
I think back to her as a superb villain.
Yes.
She doesn't need to be right in the thick of it. She can be from the side and kind of do her magic missile and throw her boomerang and still hit them where they're too far away, where we can't go chase after her because we have to deal with this.
I'm fine either way. Matt Kendall is saying it's new footage, though, so then your explanation makes more sense.
Boom.
Where it's a character thing and not a Sentai thing.
3-3.
That wasn't even a real point. I was like, hey, maybe it's this. You're like, maybe it's that. I agree. And you're like, I got a point.
Bigdawg, got it.
No, that is not point worthy.
Tallied up.
That is not point worthy. I refuse to acknowledge. So now the turtles show up and the Rangers think they're bad. And I am unclear why the turtles have all the Rangers' weapons. Like they have the spiral saber and all the other specialty weapons in their hands. And I mean, I guess it's supposed to make them look threatening, like they're going to attack. But when we never saw the Rangers loot. Go ahead.
If they don't teleport their weapons to them, where are they stored?
In the ship.
Boom.
So they could have gotten their weapons through teleportation, but instead the Ninja Turtles were like, let's take these and bring them to them because they don't know how teleportation works.
So one of the two. So the Rangers don't have them.
Right.
And the Turtles are on the ship. The ship's all good. They're like, we need to go help or we need to go fight Astronema.
Right.
Let's get better weapons than we already have and go fight accordingly. And then they show up and it's like, hey, sign of good faith. By the way, here's your sword.
Fair. I'm still chalking it up a little bit to ignorance that they didn't know that they could just get them. But either way, it works. But I have a bigger question. How'd the Turtles get there? They don't know how to teleport.
Deca and Alpha.
Do you think? Oh, Alpha probably helped them. Okay, good call. And so Andros.
3-3.
You're giving yourself a lot of points for very minor discussions.
We're tied up. I saw Matt Kendall start to type that, yep, Bigdawg's tied with Gazbot.
Andros did drop his saber. Leonardo picked it up in the first fight from a while back, maybe.
Maybe the boomerang had them drop all their weapons.
I guess. Well, then it's just weird that you didn't see the Turtles pick it up. It's a minor thing, but I guess you're right that the bigger point is that, like, hey, look, here's your weapons. We're friends again.
Yeah.
But even at that point, Andros is still like, whoa. But then he's like, here, take it, let's go. And this is like the payoff for the whole episode, where it's like, okay, finally.
Yeah, this 2 minutes is just superb.
This is what everything's been about, where we get all the Ninja Turtles and like this shot, like, let's go. It's like a Braveheart moment, like, raw. And they do a good job with the pairings too. And again, going back to how there's 5, so like Leo and Andros and everybody, they're all paired together, and they're doing like attacks together. You can see Cassie's doing the off the shell attack, and like they're kind of mixing up the 2 different forms of martial arts. And we got Mikey, and like I just got a couple screenshots here because like without watching it, it's hard to really appreciate it. But this was the payoff for the whole thing. We get Donnie swinging. Donnie took down a whole bunch of Quantrons by himself, and then we get TJ jumping in. And he's like, "Yep, I'll take out the rest," and like. And that makes sense too, TJ and Donnie being paired up because they're like the tech-minded ones and stuff.
Who should be the leader in art?
Well, certainly TJ. Donnie's debatable. And then, there's the 2 leader shot. And then they have a little bit of a cartoony moment, which I didn't mind, where it's a pile of Quantrons that, like, it's a dog pile of bodies that they've defeated. But that's, like, exactly on the level. I'm like, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Passable.
But this whole 2 minutes, if you don't want to watch the whole episode, just watch the end for that fight scene. That's what everything has led up to, was the Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers kicking evil alien butt. That was all of it. And so then, and this should be cheesy, but I loved it because they got him, and Astronomer's like, oh, and then for no reason they're like, Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, which neither of them really do that, but I loved it. It's like, I'm fine with this. They're excited about their teams, they're working together. I'm in. I'm totally in. I was like, yeah. And then Astronomer's like, this isn't over for either of you, although it is over for the Turtles. She never fights them again, but she doesn't know that. I like this framing. They got a lot of cool, like, interesting angles and framing of getting a lot of different elements this episode. Whoever was, like, the cinematographer or director, whoever made those choices, I like a lot of them. So this isn't over for either of you, but I'm leaving, and I'll never see the Turtles again. And then they're like, hey, you guys did a really good job. Let's be friends. And now Mikey goes after Pink. And if you notice, she was talking to Raph, but Mikey goes after her too. So he does just go after everyone, even if they're talking to someone else. I guess it's Jack Sparrow, but it gets a little old. It's not charming.
No, not Captain Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Harkness.
Oh, from Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Oh, so you think it's genuine? Because I feel like Captain Jack Sparrow
he
kind of
just
flirts
blindly loves females.
And males.
Well, that's Captain Jack. For this, we haven't seen anything outside of female characters.
All right. But I feel like it's not charming after a while. It just gets like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I agree.
And so here's Andros. Now this part was weird to me. Andros was like, we can't trust them. Then he's like, okay, they've broken the mind control. They gave me my saber. We just fought together. I guess we could trust him now. Except then Leonardo puts his hand out, and Andros is like, I don't know. And we wait. And then he takes like a long walk, and then finally he shakes his hand. But I'm like, that shouldn't have been dramatic. They already made up and then had a huge fight together. Like, why were...
This is the same guy who puts hot sauce in random people's milkshakes. He has a little growing up to do.
All right. So this is like back to, okay, he was right the whole episode. Now he's being a jerk again just for jerk's sake.
Yeah, he's like, do I really give them the benefit of the doubt even though I was right this whole time and have been validated on numerous occasions? All right.
They're all cheering. Look at TJ. He's got his leg up. He's like, yeah. Like... and so then they go back up to the ship. Well, they're just congratulating each other and stuff. Oh, this was like, she's like, hey, Brooklyn's a really long way from here. And he's like, well, we do have a ship, which again seems weird since they've already established that they give him rides and stuff like that. This whole like end cap, I feel like they just had extra time and they couldn't afford more fighting. So they're like, let's just have them rehash things that they've already done or something.
Yep.
It just felt weird and awkward. I do like this shot though, for some reason. It just seems so goofy to me. So then they get back up to the ship. And the Turtles are... This, by the way, is going to be the thumbnail image for this episode. Hey! And Alpha's like, okay. And so they're like, oh, everything's cool. And he's like, sorry, Deca, that I heard, I reprogrammed you. And Deca's like, oh, I'm not programmed to hold a grudge. And then zaps him in the butt, which means Deca is programmed to lie. And they all laugh. Our computer is attacking, our guests. That's fine.
I think that's laughter of fear.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh yes, I'm never making Deca mad.
Deca definitely works for us. We're not under her control. And Deca's like, ooh, sorry, that was a mistake. Wink, wink. And so they're about to go, and then Mikey's like, oh, one thing I'd like to do before we go, dudes. And then what he wanted to do is make horrific faces with his brothers. Glider. Yeah, and there's some really bizarre faces here. And then there's the rest of them. And then we cut to Mikey, and he's like, "Woo, that's kind of cool." But that first shot of Raph is just like, I don't
I
know.
think his animatronics work the best, which is why he also had the Home Alone face earlier.
I think you're right. We've talked before about what are the rules in space, and do the suits let them breathe? They don't have spacesuits.
Everything out the window.
They're in space. You could make an argument that the Galaxy Glider has like a small bubble of atmosphere or something, but they don't explain it. So this is where I come back to. It seems like Power Rangers, especially the early seasons, you can breathe in space. That's the most reasonable, There's gravity on the moon in those early scenes with Rita and stuff. They're not bouncing around. They're just walking, I think they're in a different dimension, and there are different rules for their dimension's space physics.
I'm not going to concede to any prior debates that we've had, and we'll agree to disagree.
Okay. Matt Kendall Clare, that was funny with Deca zapping him. Yeah. Okay, so that's the end, but there were... Oh, this is the actual final shot. And then there were some bloopers at the end that included the Ninja Turtles. So we had like the little Karate Kid Ralph Macchio thing, which was cool.
Yep.
And then he falls over right after it.
Mm-hmm.
She was speaking Japanese, like as like the suit actor. I don't remember what she said, but she was just...
Oh, I actually don't think it was the actress who played Cassie. I think it was one of the stuntmen.
That's what I'm saying. The suit actor speaking Japanese.
Oh, I thought
That's
you
what
just said the actor.
No, I meant the person under the suit. Yes. And then there's some glitch here. I don't remember what it was. And then this one I like because Leo went to make a kick and kind of messed it up, and then the Quantron helped him because they're both like actors helping each other. But it's like, whoa, and he's like, I got you, buddy. It's fine. It's fine. And then the final one was Andros standing there like waiting for a shot, and he's just like fixing his hair. All right. Yeah. And that was the end of the crossover. It's Andros fixing his hair, and that was part 2 of Power Rangers in Space Meet the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. 2. Now, we are running pretty long. I want to do some quick news, and then we got to get out of here because we're coming up on an hour and a half. So, do you have any news? I have some stuff queued up, or do you want to go first?
Absolutely got some news.
Okay. What do you got?
One shot time.
Okay.
So, as we mentioned in prior episodes, Gazbot and I are avid collectors, not only of Power Ranger toys, but of other toys as well. But specifically with Power Ranger toys, I, on many occasions, have said, I think Hasbro is not going to redo a lot of the Rangers that Bandai did because it was too recent, and I don't know why that's where they would start.
Mm-hmm.
I am 100% wrong because not only did we get an announcement of a 2-pack with Lost Galaxy Red and Psycho Red, but now they're like, hey, you know what else? Let's just throw out Psycho Blue because, boom, there you go.
Yep.
So crazy.
I had that queued up.
Crazy. I know. Thank you.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying the 2-pack is an exclusive to Best Buy, for those that don't know. And it was up on their site for a minute, and now it's not up there anymore. So a lot of people say that was a mistake. They weren't supposed to announce it. The Psycho Blue is an official announcement that was on purpose, but I do wonder if they weren't going to announce that yet, but they're like, well, they announced Red, so I guess we have to now. Psycho Red 2-pack with Leo, which I think is the best. Actually, I'm going to cut back so people can see. I think is the best human likeness we've seen so far.
Agreed.
And it's exciting because we haven't had Lost Galaxy since Vintage. So getting a new Psycho, some people don't like the helmet as much. That's debatable, but I do like the electricity hand and some of the other things he comes with. So I don't want to have to rebuy him, but the fact that they put him with Leo was smart because I definitely want Leo. So I'm buying it. But the blue Psycho that they announced is said to be an exclusive. This is all from Toy Wizards, by the way. It's said to be an exclusive, but they haven't announced who's exclusive yet. So that's the only other thing is that we know Best Buy will have the 2-pack. We don't know who. But I like that it's an exclusive blue Psycho because that means he's not taking up a slot in the main wave.
Potentially.
And so maybe all the Psychos are going to be exclusives, which I'm fine with.
Oh, I hope none of them are for Walmart.
As long as none of them are for Walmart. Because for those that don't know, Walmart is the hardest to get exclusives from.
It goes Walmart, then Walgreens, then everything else.
Real Baboo says they have news. We'll get to that. Don't worry. Do you have any more news on your end?
Was there anything else?
Well, actually, I'll do my next piece then.
Okay,
this isn't news so much as recommendations. I said this on the site if anybody follows there. On Amazon, there's a lot of cheap Ranger stuff. You could get the Lightning Collection, Doggy Kruger for $11. I think Dino Charge Red is like $16. They're all less than retail. Some almost half as much. And
Mighty Morphin's $15.
Mighty Morphers 15, okay. And the Beast Morphers, you can see, these are the new ones that just came out. This isn't the Lightning Collection, but they're normally 10. They've got it for 650. So if you're looking for either Beast Morphers or Lightning Collection, check Amazon. A lot of them are on deep discount, probably because all the new stuff is coming out. Because Beast Morphers Wave 2 has already started showing up on shelves, and supposedly the Lightning Collection Beast Morpher Red has showed up, so all the older stuff is going on sale. It might go up again later, who knows, but if you've been holding off, now is the time.
Yep. Also, on the note of Beast Morphers Wave 2,
yes.
You and I actually had in-person handlings of some of the new Zords. We only, for some reason, saw silver, blue, and yellow, which was odd to me.
We did also see the claws, the role-play claws for the power-up mode, which we haven't even seen in the show yet. But
and the new Morpher.
And the new Morpher, which if you follow online at all, a lot of people have talked about this. I don't have an image of it ready.
Garbage. Smoking hot garbage.
As good as the wrist Morpher is, the gold, silver, like gun Morpher, it's a Nerf gun. It looks like it's a play school toy. I mean, I know these are kids' toys primarily, but it looks like a little kid's toy. It's really weird. It doesn't match the other one at all. And they've confirmed they're not making another. Because people asked at Comic-Con, and they've said, no, this is it. This is the one you get. And I don't understand it.
Yeah, it looks like one of the toys that they include in a Halloween costume just to say you have something.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a one shot. I'm going to see if I can find it.
It's not meant to be used for like more than a day. Like, it just looked really bad. I don't even remember what the price was, but whatever it is, it's not worth it.
I agree. I'm trying to find a picture of it. I didn't know we were going to talk about it. I can't find it. But if you look online, you can find it. It's not good. It's very disappointing.
Yeah, if anybody finds it and wants to post it in the Action Activate Facebook group, feel free, and then we can continue the discussion there. Just because
there's the link for that.
I know there's some great news in terms of the Legacy stuff or the Lightning Collection stuff, and then stuff like this where it's like, what are you doing? You're the same company.
The other figures, the Striker Morpher is what it's called. Thank you, Matt Claire. The other figures do look pretty good though. The regular silver and the enemies and things like that. Like,
agreed.
It's just the Striker Morpher, and again, it's bad, but it's weird that it's the other one was like one of the best Morphers we've had in years.
So great.
So it's like I feel like they had 100 points to spend, and they spent 90 of them on this one and 10 on this one instead of 50 on each or something. It's very, very odd. Here's a piece of news that I will say, but it applies more to you, Bigdawg, and it is that the game that you probably just got delivered, the Heroes of the Grid, has announced, well, they announced it a while ago that the next expansion is Zeo. This is from No Pink Spandex. But they've actually shown artwork on the boxes and some of the figures at Gen Con this past weekend. So it's happening. It's created. It's there. If you're interested in that, I think the Kickstarter either is live or will be live. So everybody's just getting their first shipment of the game, and they're like, all right, on to part 2. And so that was the big news. And I've had a hard... Congrats to Pink Spandex, No Pink Spandex, because they announced this on their Instagram, which is what I'm looking at right here. There's another picture over here, and I haven't been able to find images anywhere else. Like, other people announced it, but No Pink Spandex was the only one that had actual images to share with you guys. All right.
Yeah,
so,
it looks cool. I did just get my shipment. The boxes are really big, but I'm excited to play it. I just need to get together a crew to play an hour-plus game with me.
Matt Claire says the Kickstarter will be live at some point next month, so they're still just showing it. All right, so I only have one more piece of news. Do you have anything you want to say before we get to that?
If I do, I can't remember it, so please carry on.
All right, the final piece of news, and possibly the most important. Let me go to the full news screen here. Look at this. Iron City Sports and Comic-Con has a big guest. Steve Andreno from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, better known as Baboo, or here, the real Baboo. That's right, our own homegrown hero, Stevie's all grown up and going to Kaiju World. Kaiju World being Iron City Sports and Comic-Con. And this is in, oh wow, I should know. Steve could tell us in the chat. Alabama. Thank you very much. And it's not for a little bit yet, but if you're in that area, check it out. He will be there, and I'm sure he would love to say hello to you and take your pictures with you and give you a soda and a hug and a kiss. Some of these things I can't guarantee he will do. Don't take anything I say and hold him accountable for it. But it's pretty exciting. It's
not legally binding.
Not legally binding, but I think that's a new show from my understanding. This is maybe the first or second year they're doing it. So that's pretty cool that he'll be there doing that. And that just got announced. This is actually the photo that they made, but I like that you could tell they did a really good job. This isn't the point of it, but like they blended the background. Like he wasn't sitting in front of like red, curtains or whatever. So I don't know. I appreciate when they put in the extra effort and do stuff like that. And let's see,
Agreed.
Real Baboo says, just outside Birmingham, it's the inaugural con. Okay, so it's brand new. It's a brand new con. Good time to get in on the ground floor. My experience with cons is if you're a seller, you don't necessarily want to be at the first year, but if you're going to attend, you absolutely do because it's going to be smaller crowds. You're going to have more time with people. You're going to get better deals. It's the, so if check it out for sure. And I'm not saying don't go if you're a seller, but if I was local, I'd go, but I wouldn't like take a trip out there on the first year. But again, if you're just going to have fun, if you're going to meet people like Steve, this is a good idea for the first year because they get bigger and bigger. Yes.
Can I share a story that you and I are connected to but didn't know each other at the time? In the exact same vein of what you just said?
Okay, do I even know the story?
You do, but we haven't talked about it in a while. So one shot really quick.
All right,
so
for Bigdawg,
years ago, there was a local comic convention called Big Wow Comic Fest in San Jose. And Gaz used to go to it to sell or to just attend, and I used to go just to attend.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, there was a new convention that was being promoted called Power Morphicon. So they had a panel for it, and obviously I'm a Power Ranger fan. At the time, I was getting more back into it. I wasn't as versed as obviously I am now. And they had a panel with some of the actors. I believe Walter Jones was there, Catherine Sutherland, definitely Skull, Jason Narvey, possibly Paul Scheer, and I want to say there was one other person that I can't remember. But I went to the panel room, and it was this room that had like maybe a dozen rows of seats, and there were 4 people in there.
Yep.
And it was me kind of in the back, and there were a couple of random people up front. And at some point, Gazbot came in and left because I never saw him.
Yeah, I wasn't there the whole time.
Yeah, but one cool thing about it was kind of before it started, Walter Jones walked by and introduced himself to everybody, which I thought was really cool. And now, obviously, it is the big convention that we all know and love.
Yeah, I actually was tabling. I was selling my art at that con, and I was by myself. So it was a thing where it's hard to get away from the table. Like you got to trust that no one's going to steal your stuff, but you also might lose sales. As you're working. But I do remember hearing that, and like you, I hadn't got back on the hype train yet. But I was like, oh, they got the Power Rangers in there, and so I kind of just snuck away for a minute, and I looked in, and I specifically remember seeing Walter Jones. I forget who else was there, but he was the one talking or whatever. And I'm like, oh man, that's like the Black Power Ranger. And I'm like, wow, there's no one in here. What the heck? That's weird. And I just sort of hung out for a minute or two, and then had to go. So that's why, I wasn't in there very long, but enough to be like, I feel like more people should be in here. This is weird. And then I went back to my table, and at my table, I'm like, yeah, did you know they're doing Power Rangers in there? You should check it out. And they're like, what? But yeah, that is funny because we didn't even – did we know each other at all at that point?
I may have known you because you played Magic at the comic book store that we both met at.
But we weren't –
I kind of played it, but we never really –
We weren't friends.
No, not at all.
We may have met,
just history of Gazbot and Bigdawg. I actually started becoming friends with Gaz because he used to do toy reviews, and he did toy reviews of Power Rangers Megaforce figures. And I commented, was like, hey, that's pretty cool, blah, blah, blah. I like your videos. And then there was the local San Jose toy show that now we table and sell at together, where I was like, hey, there's a toy show. You should go to it. I got all this vintage Ranger stuff for super cheap.
I also remember – sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go for it.
One of the first long conversations we had via chat, you were telling me about the SH Figure Arts Samurai Red Ranger that I could get for $15. And I was like, what? And that brought us to where we are today.
Yep.
But where we are today is at over an hour and a half. So unless there's anything else you want to throw out there, I think we should start wrapping it up.
I'm good to go. If anybody wants to hear any more history of Gazbot and Bigdawg stories, let us know in the comments of the YouTube video or on Action Activate. Either way, you should go check out the Action Activate Facebook fan page and group to talk to us even more and each other. I am the Dawg Defender. He is
the Gazbot Knight. Actually, do you think it should be Gazbot Knight or the Gazbot Knight?
Whichever you prefer.
All right, well, we'll go Gazbot Knight.
And for once, I'm closing the show saying, to the power.
Turtle power.
See you guys later.
Take it easy. I'm going to go to end credits.